Welcome back to Special Educators Resource Room podcast. This is Jennifer from Positively Learning, and today is episode 4 of the Special Educators Summer Series. We're building your independent work system in bite-sized steps. I am loving this series so much because these are things I think about and talk about all the time, but to really get all the steps into these bite-sized pieces makes me think about them even more and just simplify. And that is one of my favorite things to do. The only regret is that I wish we were doing this in person. I think it would be so fun to have a make and take where we all get together and set up the independent work systems. I even did an episode a while back about my dream task box party and what it would look like. And someday we're going to make that come true. Today, we're moving forward with the tasks framework. Past few weeks, we've done our homework. We know the 3 skills we're focused on. We've taken the inventory. We know what we have. We know what we're missing. Today is the letter S for set the stage. And this is one of the most important episodes. So let's get into it. There is a difference between a task a student can do and a task a student can do independently. And if you've ever had independent work completely fall apart, this distinction that sounds so simple might change everything for you. A task a student can do. Let's define it. The student has the skill. If you had close proximity, maybe pointed to the first item, confirmed they were on the right track halfway through, or maybe even gave feedback like amazing work when they finished, they could complete this task correctly. Let's contrast that with a task a student can do independently. Because it is all of those things, plus the task itself has enough structure that the student can start it, work through it, and finish it without needing you to be providing that scaffolding. Most materials are designed to be used by a student who has a teacher nearby. These might be worksheets or activities designed for instructional context, which makes sense because that is what teaching is, right? But independent work is so different. Independent work is asking the task to do your job, the job that you would normally do. And most tasks or student activities aren't set up for that, which is completely fine, unless you were interested in pulling small groups. This step in the tasks framework is called set the stage, and it's all about closing that gap. Before a task goes into your independent work rotation, it needs to meet 3 criteria. Every independent task needs a clear start, a clear work signal, and a clear finish. Let's go through each of these in depth. And quick reminder, on YouTube, Wednesday, there was a video showing visuals of each of these steps. I think that would be really helpful to go see. So let's talk about that clear start. When a student arrives at a task, the task itself should be giving them clues on how to begin. It should not take a verbal reminder from you or a direction that you have written down. The task should be giving that signal. For a lot of our students, especially students who need predictability and routine, the absence of a clear start signal, that could be enough to stop them before they even begin. Maybe you've seen students when they sit down, they look at the task, they wait, not because they can't do it, but because there was no clear start button. A clear start might look like a visual direction. Maybe it's on their table. It might be a visual that shows the first step on a checklist. It might be a color-coded starting point. It might be a green dot or a labeled start here. It might be something as simple as the pieces being organized in a way that makes the first move very obvious. Whatever it is, the student should be able to sit down and get started without asking you. Now let's talk about the middle section. Once a student has started, they need to know what success looks like along the way, not just when they get to the end. This is where a lot of tasks can really fall apart in the middle. A student is working and they make a choice and they're not sure if it's right. And instead of continuing, they pause. And that pause turns into waiting. And that waiting could turn into an interruption. A task with a clear work component has enough built-in feedback that a student can self-monitor. It might be self-checking, like matching tasks where the pieces only fit one way. It might be a visual model, like visual directions that they can compare their work to. It might be a structured format where each item looks like the last. So once they understand the pattern, they can keep going confidently. The goal is that the task itself can answer the question, am I doing this right? As much as possible. Not perfectly, but enough. And that third criteria was a clear finish. This is the most consistently missing piece. And it does connect directly back to that third breakdown point that we talked about in episode 1. Students who finish and they just don't know what comes next. A clear finish means two things. First, the task has a physical ending. The student can recognize the pieces are all in place. The folder's complete. The work is in the finished bin. Done is a physical state, not just a feeling. Second, the student knows what happens after it's done. Not like vague, like I think I know what to do, but specifically. Do they get another task? Do they go to a specific spot? Do they look at their visual schedule? Is there a first then visual that tells them what comes next? Without a clear finish, students are going to fill in the gap. And the way they fill it is usually not what we were thinking of. This information is all helpful, but now let's apply it to real teaching. When you are looking at a task, maybe it's one that you're looking at online, maybe it's one you already have in your toolkit. These are the questions you can run through to see if this is a quality task and it's the right task for your student. Question 1, if I walked away the moment a student sat down with this task, would they know how to start? We don't want a probably or a maybe. We just want a yes or a no. Would they be able to start? Question 2, if the student got halfway through and you were not standing there to confirm that they were on the right track, would they keep going? Or would they stop and look up at you? And question 3, when the student finishes, is there a physical done state? Do they know what comes next right now from the task or from the environment that you've set up without you telling them? Wherever the answer is no, that's the gap. And it's usually one place, not all three. Most tasks are missing one of these things, not all of them. So we just need to fix one gap. You don't have to redo everything you have. We just need to fix that one thing. Last week's homework was to take inventory of the materials that you have access to, what's going to go inside a task and where the task is going to live, the container. Now we're ready to go look for materials, and you have the criteria. You're looking for materials that have a clear start, clear work, and clear finish. So you're not going to be looking at, is this cute? Does this look good? Is this skill level right? Is this free? All good things. Those things do matter, but a task at the perfect skill level that doesn't have that clear start is still going to need you every time. A task that is so cute, high interest, something you know your students are going to love, but it doesn't have a clear finish signal, it's still going to fall apart at the end. When you're evaluating a task box, a file folder, or work binder, ask, does this tell a student how to start, what to do, and when they're done? And if yes, it's worth considering. If no, it's just going to create more work for you, not save you from it. And if you're thinking, wait a minute, I've been following along because I just want my students to work independently. I want to pull small groups. I don't have time for all of this. I've got you. This is one of the reasons the Task Box Club and the Independent Work Club were built the way they were. Every task in the library is designed with this criteria: clear start, clear work, clear finish. Because independent work that needs a teacher to run it isn't actually independent work. Your homework this week is to audit one task, run it through the 3 questions, fix the one gap you'll find. If you don't have tasks, I've got you. I'm going to put a link to 3 free tasks. They are directly from the club. You could download those, pick the one you like the best for your students that you think matches the most, and run it through those filters. Next week, we're going to be continuing with the tasks framework with letter K. Keep it consistent. We're going to be building the system around the task, whether you already had a task or you're going to be using one of the free ones. We're going to be talking about the physical setup of your independent work area, the rotation, the storage, the visual schedules. The task is going to live inside the system. And next week, we're going to build that system. The Taskbox Club, the Independent Work Club, and those free tasks are going to be linked in the show notes. If you want to get started, remember your homework, and I can't wait to talk to you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time in the Special Educators Resource Room. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'm dying to ask, what'd you think? Be sure to hit the follow or subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. You can find the show notes and links for everything mentioned in this episode at positivelylearningblog.com. See you next week for more special education solutions.